here's a simple lesson that incorporates decoding, grammar, and morphology. So it's all about the suffix s. Now, when we talk about the suffix s in terms of like pluralizing a word, that makes sense to kids, right? One, more than one, that part's simple. But then when we talk about the other job of suffix s, it can be a little more confusing. The words subject-verb agreement don't exactly go over very well in first grade, but here's a way that we can teach it. So I start by having some words like this. Now here's where the decoding comes in. We can go ahead and we can decode all of these words, get some practice. Now I teach suffix s right after CVC words, so this is perfect because they're getting to reinforce the skill they just learned, practice it, and now we're adding in something new. So we're going to read each of these, and then I'm going to talk about, I'm even going to bring in the idea of nouns and verbs. And even if they don't know those terms or remember those terms, we can talk about how these are all things. A person, a place, or a thing. So these are all things, or I guess in one case, a person. And now verbs are actions, and these are all actions. So we're going to talk about first how what each of these words are. These are all a person, place, or thing. We call that a noun. These are all action words, and we call them verbs. So now let's talk about suffix s. So I'm going to say, I want to turn this into a very simple sentence. So let's take a look at the first one. Our words are dog and run. That's not a sentence on its own. There's two words there, but I want to create a sentence. So I can put the word the. So let's try it. The dog run. Something doesn't quite sound right. I'm going to put the suffix s right here. So now we've learned this, that the suffix s can make something more than one. So we have the dogs run. I'm going to reinforce some terminology. I'm going to say our base word is dog, our suffix is s. Its job is to make that more than one. So now I'm picturing in my head more than one dog. The dogs run. Throw on a period and we have ourselves a sentence. We have our subject, and then what happened? Well, then there's something fun we can do. If I take this away and I just want one dog, so I want a sentence about one dog, the dog run. It doesn't quite sound right. We need to add the suffix s to our action word, our verb. Now it says, I'll put it a little closer, the dog runs. And that does sound right. So I'm going to go through each of these and we're going to do that. So I'm not getting into any rules yet. I'm sort of just talking about how this is how the sentence sounds right in this way. So we have our subject, the dog, there's only one. So we're going to need the suffix s for our action word, for runs. So now let's go through. I'm going to put the word his. That works. You can stick with the if you're really trying to get that word, get those kids to learn the word. So his cat sip. That doesn't sound right to me, although I know what the writer's trying to say. So let's first make it more than one cat. Let's review that concept of my base word is cat, and when I add the suffix s, now I have more than one cat. His cats sip. So I'm picturing a person who has more than one cat, and that cat is sipping up something. It could be milk, we don't know, but it is a complete sentence. We have our subject, his cats, and then the action is sip. His cats sip. We would just need a little period there. Now, I just want one cat though, and I want to play with this sentence if there's just one cat. His cat sip. That doesn't sound right. I'm going to need the suffix s because I have one subject, his cat. That's it. Since I have one, then I'm going to add my suffix s onto my action word. And now let's read our sentence. His cat sips. Perfect. All right. Let's do one more, and then I think you got the point. But let's go ahead and do the again. We have the bug hop. That doesn't sound right. The bug hop. We can talk about how in English there are certain rules about how the order of words and where to use certain suffixes. So again, I don't need to get into too much detail because it is pretty complex, but I want the concept to kind of come through. So first, we're going to make it more than one. And we have more than one bug now. The bugs hop. Base word bug, suffix s, new word bugs. The bugs hop. Ooh, I don't know. I don't want to be there where there's a bunch of bugs hopping around. So now I just want one bug. The bug hop. Okay, we have one subject. So now I'm gonna, to my verb, I'm gonna add that suffix s to make it sound right. The bug hops. Now that sounds right. We would just need a little period here. The bug hops. So you can go through and you can do this. All of these words with your student, you can you could do it on the board with the whiteboard. You could create your own cards just with index cards. So I just want to just point out though that we have decoding, we have grammar, and we have morphology, and it's all in one, and we're reviewing concepts that we've learned. So I hope that this is a helpful video.